Hey guys, what's up? It's Double Zug. So this is a rank 2 parse on Bethtilac. I think it was rank 1 actually when it went out, and then Megsy came with like the 397 rag staff and just beat my ass by like 2k HPS, which is wild. This is a 5 heal. I honestly think even at this point in gear, this fight is 4 healable with proper CD usage at the end. But I just thought this was kind of an interesting pull. A little bit of a proof of concept for like solo healing top. I feel like there's some things I've learned that I can mention here that I just didn't put in the boss guide. So you can see here I did pre-shield a little bit on the pull, but not too much, like maybe like 400 or 500k extra healing from that, which is nice, but you know, not super necessary to do if you don't have time pre-pull. I'm going to take up one of the first spinners. Don't be afraid if you're the only healer going up to like boots to one of these. Although at this point we've figured it out to where people aren't really going up there. So you can see like I'm solo healing up top as disc, and very important. I think we send up 6 DPS usually. Like you can see group 2 is me, the tank, and then some melee, and then usually one of the mages will also come up. Very important that you set up your groups up top here. POH is just like really efficient at healing the ember damage. Also, you can see here I'm like kind of standing out to bait meteors away from the inner hole, and then all the melee, you know, can be decently spread as long as they're within POH distance of like a central target. And usually when you're up here, you as a disc priest, you can either stand like behind the tank out here and heat POH off the tank onto the melee, or you can stand behind the melee like out here and POH onto the tank off of the melee. So yeah, up here really you're just sort of like, you know, chucking your palm out, letting your palm bounce, keeping your rapture up, doing a little bit of atonement, and then POHing all the ember flare damage. You can see there, I usually jump down through one of the meteor holes. It's just faster, and you can always just, you know, levitate yourself. On, you know, a lot of the healers you don't have a slow fall, but even so, like if you're at full HP, sometimes it's just quicker to go through the hole than to take the webs. Normally you can kind of cheese this like acid rain stuff with a mage up there, but our mages, I think, were dying doing it, so we just didn't. It's not really that big of a deal. If you have 5 healers, you can just heal through it. You can see here the tanks are a little bit dangerous when they're running up, so you can see he had Vamp, and then I just PS'd him out of it because he was low. Not like the most necessary PS. One thing to mention up here, you can see I'm barriering him out of that PS just for safety, and the barrier should of course be up for the last phase of the fight. You can also see I use my Shadow Fiend super early. I don't have Short Fiend, and this fight is long enough to get 2 Fiends even with a 5-minute Fiend. So just remember to send your Fiend like as soon as you have like, you know, 30-40k missing mana, just send it instantly. So more of the same here. You can see I'm just healing most of the Ember Flare damage on the melee and myself in the tank with POH, and then I'm just sending some like shields and some spot heals into the one mage that's up, that's like in his own group out here. I did get my Valor 2 set here. I'm still rocking a 378 weapon in this clip, which is like super unfortunate. The 397 or even a 391 weapon would be like a pretty huge increase to HPS here. But even in like 375 gear with just Valor 2 set, like this fight is, I think, 4 healable. We also have like not the greatest healing comp here. We have 1 HPAL. Our 2 of our main healers were out here, so we had like an off-spec Resto Druid, and then we had an off-spec Resto Shaman here. Like our flex healer playing Resto. And then of course Lightwater, who's obviously a blaster. But yeah, I honestly think this fight's like super 4 healable. Healing solo up top did not feel dangerous at all on Disc Priest. I think Disc Priest is the best to do it because POH, it's kind of like, you know, if you could have everybody up top stacked, pixel stacked, Paladin would be the best to do it because of Radiance, but you really can't. But it's pretty easy to get everyone in POH range of each other up here. And, you know, you just have like really good healing profile for this type of like pulsing damage on 5 or 6 players, as long as you manage your groups properly. One thing to mention up here is you can see I'm standing on this little like red, like veiny thing. This can cause really annoying LOS issues on this fight. I think this is something I didn't mention in the actual boss guide. This is a pretty bad him, I think. That was a pretty big mistake there. But yeah, you can see I was standing up on those veins, especially if you're like a goblin or maybe one of your DPS players is a goblin or something. Those veins can cause LOS issues, so whenever you can, try to stand like on top of them and try to get your DPS to stand on top of them, or just to like jump or something so that you can consistently get LOS. You can see we have one dead going in here, which is not the greatest. This is a super simple phase. You kind of just stack up. One thing to mention here is just especially if you have that 2 set, be sure to consistently be using your palms. And try to have, I should have had Zerk for this as well as PI. It's a little bit of a misplay here. You really want those cooldowns for the last like 30% of the boss. But you can see I'm just basically like consistently POHing, trying to focus more on the tank groups with that POH just to get a little splashing, and then I'm also consistently setting up my palm. Went into the phase with a decent amount of mana. You can see I'm going to get my Fiend up, but it's going to be a little bit late. I probably should have sent my Fiend a little bit sooner. One thing to mention here, that was a pretty bad tank death. You can see I was on global for a Penance and a Power Word Shield. I probably should have just sent the Power Word Shield, and I probably would have saved the tank there. Or even like a PS. But yeah, in this fight, in this phase rather, it's very important that your Holy Paladin is swapping his beacon every time the like debuff goes out in the tank swap. Especially if you only have like one, our comp here doesn't have like the greatest passive tank healing. So, especially if you have like 2 paladins, like double beacon on the active tank is so much healing. And I see a lot of paladins not swapping their beacon enough. Swapping your beacon to the most efficient target is like really, really powerful. So you can see we get a Lust here. And I'm just hard spamming some shields to spend some extra mana so I can actually go with my Fiend out. And you can see I end the fight with like 60k mana. This is pretty bad. I should have been spamming a little bit harder there. And that's another thing, like, if I'd spent my mana a little bit better here, that's one way that, like, you could 4-heal this fight pretty easily. Also, we didn't really use our raid CDs that well. There, you kind of want to save, like, your AMZs and all your raid cooldowns for, like, literally the last, like, 5 or 6 ticks of Ember Flare, because those are the ticks where healing it is actually, like, difficult, right? So that's where you want your mitigation. So yeah, kind of a cool, like, Soul Hill pull there. These are the logs. Just mostly POHDA, Power Word Shield, not anything too special here, not too much tech. And again, this is in like 375 gear with the random like BOE 378 dagger. So yeah, just a couple of like extra tips here for Bethtilac as well. The biggest things is just to manage your groups perfectly when you're going up top so that you can get 5 targets on your POH, including the tank and yourself, and just to spend all your mana and go into the last phase with a Shadow Fiend up and like a decent big mana bar. So yeah, thanks for watching. Send a like and subscribe if you're interested in more healer content for Kata.
Swobu! Zug Zug!